Hello and welcome to The Good, The Bad and The What the Fucks, the next chapter for Nicolas Cage. I haven't even edited the last one, so I can't remember what it is. The one with Bangkok Dangerous in, probably. I need to look around because I've got 9 and I need to have a refresh. So I'm going to start with a film called Trespass, and we're not talking Ice Cube, Bill Paxton, Bill Sander and Ice-T. Fucking class film that. We're talking Trespass. And I believe it's a Joel Schumacher film, so this should be an interesting one. Okay, Trespass. Again, it's not Ice-T in, Ice Cube, it's a really good film. So this is Joel Schumacher, director of The Lost Boys, amazing movie, director of Flatliners, Falling Down, amazing movie. There's a little interview with him on there. Obviously the guy who created Batman, he didn't create Batman, sorry, created Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Even though them films get a lot of hate, they visually look amazing. And he's great for casting like younger generation and making stars out of people. But this one's Nicolas Cage reunited with him from 8mm, and Nicole Kidman had worked with him as well on Batman Forever. The PlayStation music's playing in the background. Still from Brit. But no, see, watching this movie, it's a YouTube premiere. So a couple of years ago, YouTube were really pushing it, and this is a fucking big catch to premiere it on YouTube. The problem is, it's a bit like Panic Room, very like Panic Room. Home invasion story, Nicolas Cage, a bit of a diamond heist going around with his wheeling dealing. Fakes out that he's bankrupt, but again, Nicole Kidman builds houses, the daughter goes out for a party when she's not going to go out, and then all of a sudden, boom, like home invasion. One of the guys has got like an obsession with Nicolas Cage's wife in it. Twists and turns. Bad CGI fire. I hate CGI fire. Well, Nicolas Cage did some shouting, some pointing, some quick cuttings of Nicolas Cage getting angry. As you know, they tried to get into the safe. A lot of the familiar faces. The main familiar faces is the guy from Romeo and Juliet years ago. He's been in quite a few movies. Bad guy looked a bit like Pee Wee Herman. He was bugging us for ages. I think everyone's on the A game. I don't think Nicolas Cage at all dialed this in. I think they've tried to do another 8mm. It's gone for 15. Obviously, again, this is for YouTube premiere, so it's not really uber violent. I mean, it's kind of grim when someone gets shot in the foot with a nail gun. You get right, you got you. But I mean, it's a nice little interview with Joel Schumacher. I think that's quite good. On the end, name checks The Lost Boys and that's cool. But just a home invasion story. Little twists and turns. I mean, there's like a few little red herrings about, everyone seems to be like have a little secret that exposes into it, but it was good. It's better than stuff like Blood Creek or Joel Schumacher. That was my foot nearly breaking. But for Nicky Cage, it's alright. YouTube though. Yeah, this is the Good, The Bad, The What the Fucks. These are 10 movies, especially about Nicolas Cage, and I just chuck them together and that's it. But yeah, I'm not screaming and shouting about it. It wasn't a What the Fuck movie. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. Yeah, just walking away from it. It's like I'm almost forgetting the movie. As I've just literally just turned it up there and I'm sort of forgetting it. Home invasion. A couple of yeah. It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't shit. Next one. Okay, entry number 2 is The Runner. Looks like a typical action movie. Gun running away from an explosion. That looks a bit like Justice. And you think, The Runner. This could have probably done with a better name, because it's a bit of a political one. It's it's set in Louisiana, like right down there, like years like with New Orleans and all, like in southern America. Peter Fonda's in this as well. This is set around the real life events of well, it's not a true story, but Deepwater Horizon, the fallout of the oil rig, and it's him he sort of gets some good fucking feedback after a massive political speech about what he's going to do for the people, and they're right, we are going to run, but gets caught in a bit of a scandal, a bit of a sexy scandal. Sort of goes off board, then tries to go back to the people and doing some funding and getting some claiming done. Then takes some twists and turns, and the fucking film just ends. Literally, I was looking at it and I was looking at these people and I was like, that's really bad CGI crowd. And I just stopped. I was like, what the fuck? So, like, I mean, Nicolas Cage's performance is alright, but, like, from what it is, looking like it's a fucking action movie walking away, it doesn't need that front cover at all. An absolute stunner. But yeah, 2015, that one, 5 years ago. Honestly, I mean, it's probably got a good paycheck for it, but it's a political one, so it's a what the fuck movie for the sheer fact of its cover, really. I was expecting a bit more than some proper dramatic performances. I mean, he sort of like separates from his wife 9 months after this scandal, starts seeing his assistant. She doesn't want to leave her husband. His dad dies, and it's just like, oh my god. And then he gets an opportunity, then doesn't want it, then makes another speech at the end, and then it fucking ends. It's like, what are you doing? So yeah, that was The Runner. Clip two. What was the first one? Oh yeah, Trespass. So at least it's another one out the way. That one only cost us 50p, so another one for the entry. And Trapped in Paradise turned up today from eBay. Britt wants to do a podcast for that when we can actually be socially next to each other again. So yeah, still haven't worked out what number 10 is going to be, because if I want Christian Slater movies down there, I don't think I've mentioned yet, but like Christian Slater, the next volume, and John Cusack are all intertwining in this, so I'll see you in the next clip. Next up for Nicolas Cage, the third one in the series. What a film, Lord of War. I've had this for a very long time. I actually have it twice. I found it for, was it one of the ones where, oh, it's 4 for £1, mate, and like, have I got Lord of War? I've not got Lord of War. And I was like, have I got it on Blu-ray? I've not got it on Blu-ray. Just buy it, Stephen. Just revisit there. This seems to want to cough a lung. This seems to, like, you know, channel a lot of stuff like Blow and Goodfellas. It's based on actual events. I wasn't too keen on the CGI at the start, and then I was watching it, and the bullet goes around, and the bullet comes out, and there's some really very inventful camera angles, and the bullet goes through the kid's head. I was like, fucking hell. I love how Nicolas Cage carries it. I think Jared Leto, his support is class. I think Ethan Hawke as well. He's really good in it. So it's got a very grounded thing. And again, like Blow and stuff, you know, like you feel like these risk takers and these guys, and how he's like, you know, he's a bit of a con man, but he's just basically what he wants, he gets. You know what I mean? And it's he kind of inspire in a way, because he's like, right, there's a gap in the market there. I know what I can do. I can make some money. But you kind of think like he's got no remorse at certain stuff. Carries it really well. I really enjoyed it. Not a very long film, actually. I can't even fucking... Shit, is that 116 minutes? Jesus. If anyone's following us, I'm literally unlocking the new show, Welcome to the Land of the Long White Cloud. So that's been on the background. So I've been paying attention. I like the story. I think there's good performances. There's a mint bit when there's a time lapse of an airplane getting disassembled, and that's class. Like, it's class. So it's got some real good style to it. Let's check who directed it. Like, well, I don't recognise the name, but yeah, fans of Goodfellas and stuff like that should really enjoy that. I think Nicolas Cage. It would have done. I think it would have been done going in 18. I think they went a little bit nitty gritty and stuff like that. But no, really, really good film. Well done, Nicolas Cage. Definitely mint. Okay, I'm going to say welcome back to Nicolas Cage, the Good, the Bad, and the What the Fucks, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've watched Lords of War. Been playing on my PlayStation, and got a new computer as well, so I don't like. I'm multitasking a lot, so Nicolas Cage. I've been doing a lot of podcasts, so I'm making excuses. So there's been Lords of War. I couldn't even tell you the other two fucking films. Trespass? Fuck me, it was ages ago I watched Trespass. Anyway, so last night I tried to go to bed early. I'm back to work tomorrow, so I got up at 6 in the morning. I haven't been up at 6 o'clock this morning this year. Like, maybe back in New Zealand, because I always work late shifts, but obviously going back for like pre-up and all that. So anyway, I fucking nodded off, and then I was just like, ping. Just like, oh, so what am I going to watch? So I decided to watch my brand new Bringing Out the Dead. Now I've got this back on VHS, small box. It's not one I owned. Got enough Music Magpie for £1 or something like that. Picked up a few Nicky Cages on that. Martin Scorsese movie, so I was really interested in rediscovering this because I've got a lot of love for Scorsese, especially Goodfellas. And don't get me started about Casino. I bought Casino on Blu-ray and fuck my life, I fancied watching it the other night and I can't find it anywhere. And Blu-rays are all in alphabetical order. And like everything else is just fucking clusterfuck. So Wind Talkers, I've mentioned Wind Talkers. Wind Talkers will definitely not be in because there is one. And there's a few more Nicky Cages up there to watch, so... Again, the Dead Eyes, Martin Scorsese, he's going to sell a lot. Big supporting cast. Obviously, Patricia Arquette's in here. I'm sure Nicolas Cage and her were married. John Goodman, Vin Rames, Tom Sizemore. There's a few familiar faces throughout the movie. It's basically set over like 3 days. And, Cliff Curtis is in it as well. Again, it's got that more Scorsese style of it as well. And there's a lot of like time lapse, stuff where they're in the driving on the ambulance and looking down. Now it's set in New York, and it's about working like the graveyard shift, like the midnight panic shift, and that, and around the fucking dingy little areas. Is it Noah or Noel? He's a crazy guy, or just wants some water. So there's some really like strange characters building that, and some really like sub stories. But again, it's mainly just about him, like 5 years into this job and like really struggling. He's starting to see dead people, like no Bruce Willis style, but there's a lass called Rose. He lost, just given a call. He hasn't saved anyone for months now, and he just keeps seeing it. And some of that composite stuff's really cool. There's also a weird trippy thing where he's walking around fucking lifting people out the ground and all that, so it's quite ambitious for the time. And one of the 999 calls on the first night, he meets Patricia Arquette, because her dad has unfortunately had a heart attack, and he actually comes back to life, and I think he beats Kiefer Sutherland's record for flatliners. But he ends up being in a vegetated state, and so he keeps seeing her throughout the weekend as she's trying to see her dad. Don't make me take my motherfucking sunglasses off. It's like fucking crazy. It just shows you how fucking chaos inner cities are. And I was watching that and I was like, fucking hell, this is just predicting like an era. And like, imagine what it's like now with the COVID-19 and stuff like that going down. But again, like last night, I was like watching it wide awake. I was just like that, and you can just see Nicolas Cage fucking brilliant in this. So by day 3, after he's took the acid trip, which was just crazy enough, and he's just fucking going nuts. He's like fucking going in the back, and like the other guys turn the head, and he's come back with a fucking drip full of like a cocktail to get him through the night and that. They pick up some random people. It does touch on a few subjects of like drive-by shootings and all that, and shows how corrupt can be. A lot of music cues as well. Like the Ramones, I think, are in there quite much. John Goodman's there for the first night. He's quite good. And going to see there's an inner joke about picking up the stinky man on the streets and stuff. So there's a lot of, for low that there's not really a main story. For sale, there's a load of like stuff obviously being written by people who actually do this as well. Like the Friday night drunk who's always drunk and gets picked up and all that. There's even a weird bit where like the virgins, and she gives birth to 2 twins, and then you see this clip of Nicolas Cage's baby and it's like, what the fuck? It's just, there's some really like dark shit in it. Tom Sizemore's in it. And Tom Sizemore, I'm no disrespect to Tom, but what was this made? Let's see this any faster. I can't see a date. I want to say like late 90s, early 2000s, I would have said, but like Tom Sizemore is proper pounded on the part. He's proper, from seeing him in striking distance and the Relic recently to him, I was like, fucking hell, Tom's looking a bit big. But again, you can see the fucking Looney Tunes in his eyes in this movie. Like, he's proper like, because he just wants to go around and kick the fuck out of homeless people, and you're like, what the fuck? So he works with Vin Rames as well, and to be honest with you, right, like I still remember the first time I ever seen Vin Rames, and I had my camera looking at that, and Vin had walked on set, and he just goes, and I hadn't been introduced to him yet, and I was like, fuck me, like, he's a penetrating, like, and, you know, he was such a cool cat, but, like, you know what I mean, he was just like, you know, just aware of everything. He's fucking so fucking screwed on, Vin Rames, and, like, obviously when you see here, you think of Diamond Dog from Con Air, because Nicolas Cage and him are riding together, and Vin couldn't be any more different than when I personally met. I mean, you don't suit hair. If you're watching this, you don't suit hair. But no, he just embraces like the, hear the Lord, you know, like kind of the preacher thing, like the sex pest, and he just wants to go and look at all the prostitutes and stuff. So no, like, I really, really enjoyed that last night. It's definitely, I mean, again, I remember it, I've still got it on VHS in there, but that's been a long time since I've seen that, and I was just really, really like, boof, You know, so I was like really into it last night. So yeah, even the bit where Cliff Curtis, man, just fucking welcome to the Oasis, and everyone's just like fucking getting pilled out the fucking faces, and he goes back and he's like hanging over the side of the building with a fucking gate post in him, just like, oh man, it's just some of the weirdest wacky shit. So okay, so that was Bringing Out the Dead. So after Bringing Out the Dead, I told you I couldn't fucking sleep. I mean, that's a 2-hour fucking movie. Now this is not part of the 10. So this is a little Easter egg, and it is, hey, Shadow of the Vampire. Now this is produced by Nicolas Cage, Saturn Films. John Malkovich, William Dafoe, Eddie Izzard, who was great in it. John Malkovich, again, a reference to Con Air, maybe they were talking about this. Now this is like the, what if Nosferatu was a real vampire, basically. Count Ulok, depends how you want to say it. As I said, Nicolas Cage's name is not really splattered on here. Produced by Nicolas Cage. Produced by Nicolas Cage and Jeff Levine. 2000s Prism, right? So obviously Prism did a lot of fucking low-key one-off releases. You normally find a few Corey Feldman movies and stuff on the Prism, or then some of the like the really old cheesy like Jack Frost and stuff like that. But you know, the time Nicolas Cage, you look around about 2000, he was fucking rolling out, like literally big money Cage at this point. So you want to write off some tax, produce a movie. Apparently it was really cool. I watched the movie, then I listened to the directors. I mean, it's weird as fuck at the start because it's just there's a lot of progression through dissolves and then wipe effects, and it's trying to like show you these all like, you know, almost like sketch pencil like maze like blending pictures, and you go, this fucking goes on for way too long. But it shows you the story of like John Malkovich playing the real life director. What the fuck is his name? So Max Schreck, the stage name for Nosferatu, is William Dafoe. And William Dafoe really puts in a great performance. Like and like he's got like a mystery on set about who's in it. F.W. Maruno's classic vampire. So basically, it's just showing you how they would make Nosferatu back in the day. So it's really cool that the guy's doing it, and it actually has footage of Nosferatu in it, clipped in. So it's a very ambitious story, and again, like I think John Malkovich is really wanting to do this, so he's like come on board and they went there. I'm sure Nicolas Cage has met Willem Dafoe, because you've got to say it right apparently. Because I was listening to the comedy today, it's Willem Dafoe. What's his name here? It's Ian. It's like Will I am. Again, if anyone's a fan of Nosferatu, like I am, got the pop vinyl and the bottle of wine, which is definitely out of date by now, but for what that was in cinematic history, and it's just fucking amazing, you know what I mean? And it just shows you how the methods, there's a lot of good stuff as well when they're on about like the coats to wear and the glasses had to wear because of the chemical exposure of the cameras, going around with the lightning, and then just the weird fact that they're on locations and they're taking all these locations. But then again, is this guy an actor or is he a real fucking vampire? Because it's fucking weird as shit. Especially with fucking fingers going on there. So that's just a little chuck in there. As I say, it was a backup. I may have even mentioned it beforehand because, like, again, I had 9 films up there in Nicky Cage. I had something to dig out. And as I say, like, the other Nicolas Cage, I haven't even edited it yet. Mainly because I'm waiting on Matty Connor giving back the second of his part reviews. But I might holler at Matt today and say, look, I want to chuck at the end of this one, and then I can wrap up this Nicolas Cage one. So yeah, no, Bringing Out the Dead's a good film, right? So yeah, 2 random reviews there for Nicolas Cage: the good, the bad, and the Wtfs. Oi! And I'll see you in the next film, which originally was meant to be Humanity Brew, and it even got opened and put in the tray. Never watched, but yeah, we'll get there. That's what the good, the bad, the fucks are. Just random as fuck. If there was ever a movie made to get people into the lottery, it was It Could Happen to You. So this is Nicolas Cage, the good, the bad. I think I snoozed for 10 minutes. So the last one was Bringing Out the Dead. I'm sorry I haven't got a top on. So, they've offended people, you know, apparently. Do you not have a t-shirt? Yeah, I have loads of t-shirts, Circle. Yeah. So yeah, got this off Music Magpie. You don't see it that often. Don't fucking tell you to switched it off. I mean, come on. That was meant to be me bit of light. Oh nah. So anyway, Bridget Fonda, looking gorgeous. I'm guessing she's Peter Fonda's daughter. I always felt sorry for her and Jackie Chan. Jackie Brown. She Robert De Niro just turns around and blasts her. Bang. Heavily billed, TriStar Pictures movie. It was heavily trailered back in the day. It's 1999 copyright. 94 though. It's a very early on movie. Nicolas Cage, Brendan Fonda. Bridget Fonda, man. That's the fucker. And Rosie Perez. Now Rosie Perez is obviously known for being that naggy wife in White Man Can't Jump, which was a couple of years before this. She just recently appeared in Birds of Prey, so even though she's been off the radar a bit, she's still working strong. You've got Isaac Hayes there, being like obviously the voice. Stanley Tucci in this is a very small role. It's got a few famous people popping up in it. What else we got in here? Chapter selection. Oh God, It Could Happen to You was shot in more than what the fuck? It Could Happen to You was shot in more than 100 locations around New York City. Among the streets utilised by filmmakers were Central Park, Woodside, Queens, where Charlie plays stickball, and the neighbourhood King, Sankey Stadium, and the restaurant River East, where Charlie and Yvonne first realised their mutual attraction. So yeah, it's going into great detail. Not a comedy, more just a romantic. Basically Nicolas Cage is a New York cop, tips the waitress, doesn't have enough change. Again, the British thing, the American thing, tipping taxes and stuff. It's like, what? Hey, fucking hell, there is a bit at the start, sorry, even though I'm tired, there is a really, 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 really bad font layer at the front. There's font, and then it fades out, and then there's this other font, and then the font after that fades on top of it, then fades away. Then there's a pause before the writer's font comes up, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I mean, that's so bad. Like, it's, like, how did that even pass that? I mean, that's an early mistake. So I was a bit shocked about that. It was really bad, really, really bad. Maybe why I didn't see the light of day on Blu-ray. Nicolas Cage plays a strange friend. Bridget Fonda is very desirable in this, but the storyline's mental. So he can't tip her. So he says you can have half the lottery. It's meant to be 64 million, and then he's on about these bowlers taking 9 million, and then this other couple taking 4 million. They're getting 4 million. Where the fuck's the rest of the money gone? But then he's got a half it, and again he sees the problems with his wife. She's not happy, and of course, I mean, she gets like what she gets in the end. So it's kind of like, oh, don't be too greedy. So there's life lessons to be learned there. Isaac Hayes says it's based on a true story. I don't believe Isaac Hayes. Sorry. No, it's quite funny. In little bits and places, but you know, they don't go on this mad shopping spree. It's all about getting in with the crowds, and he goes back and says, look, he's $2 million. She buys the place, and you know, they sort of like fantasize, but again, like, he's taking fancy to her after winning the lottery and stuff, and yeah, I say it was just, again, it's killed her afternoon. I've had a news, but yeah, it's good. And I won't say this, what the fuck's with borderline bad. But again, it's a well-made film. Again, it showcases New York, you know what I mean. Now it'll just be done in Vancouver and stuff, but like the bit where they're all, again, it shows you like the whole, and he doesn't have enough charm as you've got Mail that had a hell of a lot of charm about the New York thing. It's got spirit. So yeah, that was It Could Happen to You. It was meant to be the Granny Bureau, but I just picked this up and give it a whirl. But yeah, it's hard to come by. It's cheap to get by. Music Magpie. But yeah, that's it. Right. Next one.
I know, I've got no idea what's going on at all.
At least you can see him.
Do you know me? Do you know about me?
Which actually I don't know if that's scarier.
Oh god, what's this?
Right. Right, this is in the middle of The Good, the Bad and the What the Fucks for Nicolas Cage. I just filmed a clip before I deleted the entire files on my camera, thinking I didn't have anything to transfer on my computer because we've just done podcasts for Welcome to the Land of the Long White Cloud. Carl is on the line right there. Hi, Carl.
Hello.
So yeah, I did this massive shout out because in The Good and the Bad and the What the Fucks, a film by Joel Schumacher is Trespass. Here it is. So I give a shout out. We've lost him today. We actually lost him, and I was like, oh my god, he's just died, and I had a legit reaction going, oh my god, the director of The Lost Boys has died, and I've went and deleted the fucking footage. I mean, come on, kind of fan am I? So yeah.
Is Trespass, is that the one that was released by 101?
It was released straight on YouTube. No, Trespass is the other Trespass with Ice Cube and Ice-T.
Oh, I'm thinking of that one.
Trespass with Nicolas Cage. Oh, it's a min film, that of a Trespass. Right. But yeah, I just want to film this to make sure, like, because I would have been going, where the fuck's me fucking tribute to Joel Schumacher for? And I'd be, I've deleted the clip. But no, Joel, as I said,
rest in peace for Joel.
Lost Boys, story of my life. I love it. I'll probably have to get Joel Schumacher added to my tattoo eventually. Batman Forever. I think you did a good turning point. Batman for Robin. I think, well, you know, you made a great tribute to Adam West in that one. It's visually stunning, but it's just batshit crazy. Blood Creek, avoid at all cost. Terrible film, I'm sorry. But Flatliners, fucking brilliant. Phone Booth, brilliant. Trespass, not bad. Brilliant director. He's quite.
I like Almost Fire, which doesn't get really the biggest mention of all of Brad Pitt film.
No.
Back in '85, but the one film which I really need to get to see because I'm sick of seeing the cover and still not seen it before. Falling Down.
Oh god, he did. Falling Down is an amazing fucking film.
We watched that, didn't we?
Never got around to watching it.
Did we not? Who's in Falling Down again?
Michael Douglas.
We watched it.
That is an amazing film. As soon as that film starts, you can fucking feel the heat.
Love that.
But
film.
again, he's quite. He'll go and direct some as like quite campy in a way. Yes, he has very campy mannerisms. I'd never worked out he was gay or not, but he's very flamboyant. He's just a brilliant director. And he's just died today, 8-year-old, bless him. And Carl just told us, and I did this big trant, and then I deleted it. Well done, Stephen. Well done. So that next film for Nicolas Cage, The Good, the Bad and the What the Fucks, unless Carl tells me what his favourite Nicolas Cage film is.
Favourite Nicolas Cage film, Face Off.
Yeah.
That's just off the top of my head, but Face Off is definitely up there.
No. What's your favourite Nicolas Cage film?
What's my favourite Nicolas Cage film? Trapped in Paradise.
I want to see Face Off at the pictures. I'm that old.
Has Carl seen Trapped in Paradise?
I have not.
It's amazing.
But you know what it is though, you said that and I swear to God, the three films that popped in my head was Face Off, Broken Arrow.
He's not in Broken Arrow.
Which is Nicolas Cage. Well, exactly, which is not Nicolas Cage, which threw me off a second. But then I thought Con Air, which I think Con Air is also an absolute brilliant film that should never be like, it's one of those that never get undone, they never get redone. They should never have sequels or anything like that. It was just a proper action film. But yeah, I mean, if I had to think, Nicolas Cage is probably one of the most out there actors in the movie industry. I mean, you can still look at old footage. This is not just recent. Going back to when he was first coming on the scene, I think he did an American talk show, and he was in like a leather, I think it was black jean, leather jacket, and he literally like did at least a couple of forward rolls, jumping all over the place. The guy, I don't actually believe he was, but the guy was just full on promoting cocaine. That's all it was. It was just like, he looks completely out of his head. But I love his insanity. I mean, Mom and Dad, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Mom and Dad?
yeah.
That film, did you see that one?
Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, that's been.
It's so
he doesn't watch the film.
You know what I mean?
Watch it.
I love it. I I sound sadistic because I just love the idea that you'll never see in a film where a bunch of parents are running after the kids on a football field, and there's like scenes where bags are getting put overhead, there's people getting wiped out with a baseball bat, there's just like, it's so violent, and it's just like, my brain can't work this out, why is this happening? But it's such an interesting film, I love it.
Carl, we're
I
gonna...
haven't seen the one that you recently did, The Colours.
Colour Out of Space, men film. Visually stunning, stunning.
I want to watch that one. I don't know, you're pretty much talking out of watching Mandy. I was going to watch it, and then your review or what you
Oh, don't say that. I mean, my reviews aren't out there. I mean, I
Oh, Carl, you need to watch Mandy.
Yeah, but in a sense of, like, in a frame of mind, I might, like, sit and watch it with you one day, or I might, like, make it as a podcast, but that doesn't sound like a film that, like now, I'm not going to sit there and go, you know what it is, I think I'm going to, I think I'm just going to put a film on just for the sake of it. That
drop
sounds
acid.
pretty-
And drop acid.
Well, Carl,
Yeah?
we'll lend you a copy of Trapped in Paradise.
Are you lending my films out now?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
There you go, but... Brett, even when you said it, before you finished that sentence, I thought, ooh, you might want to ask Stephen about that first.
Well, they're going to be ours, so you know.
Excuse me.
What?
It's Stephen's video shop. It's not Britbo's video shop.
God, Britbo's video shop sounds way cooler though.
I know. You fucking porn. We've talked about it.
Oh.
Right. Next clip of Nicolas Cage. Swing from the hips. Right, so we're back with the good, the bad, and the what the fucks for Nicolas Cage. It's been a while. It's been a week or so, maybe it's a bit more, since I watched It Could Happen to You. I didn't win the lottery in the meantime. My score settle's been sitting on the shelf for a while. I want to try and get this Nicolas Cage one wrapped up, then get back to an Arrow one, Christian Slater one, John Cusack. Just get them out of the way. So I want to give Matty Connor some time as well to watch Bad Lieutenant or one of the other Colour Out of Space. Right, so anyway, a score to settle. Picked this up on the cheap. To say the one thing about collecting Nicolas Cage films, if you don't buy them when they first come out, and I've honestly a couple of times nearly bought Primal, because the idea of Nicolas Cage fighting a tiger or a lion, whichever one, I think it's a tiger, it's very appealing to me. But again, it's kind of like, well, if you look at Running with the Devil, I mean, that came out quite close to that, and it's straight on Netflix, you know what I mean? So when you're going around in supermarkets, you sometimes find them for £3. I think this is an Asda buy. Oh god, so I've had it for a while. I've had it pre-lockdown, I think. So Revenge is coming. This is one I've really enjoyed. I wasn't paying too much attention to it. Starts off, flashback, bang, bang. So this guy basically fucking baseball bats the fuck out of somebody. Nicolas Cage is sort of, you know, he's just a little henchman in a gang at the time. He's young. He's got a habit of making baseball bats. But unfortunately ends up spending 19 years of his life in prison, only to be released because he's got permanent insomnia. So basically he's got a death wish. He's coming out, he can't sleep, his body is dying, his brain just won't shut off, and he's just getting a bit skitsy. Something's not right, and this is what's really good about this film, and I am going to fucking spoil this film if you hadn't seen it. But this is the good, the bad, and the what the fuck. It isn't review rant random, so I can have a rant about this. So basically, he gets out and goes walking down the road, and meets his son. He hasn't seen his son for 19 years. Son's not very happy with him. Son's a heroin addict. But after a quick stop by in a taxi cab, he picks up a baseball bat and he picks up a bag full of money. I don't think it really gives you much info how he had that money, but yeah, he's got a bag full of money. So he basically takes out the penthouse suite and sleeps with a prostitute. You want to see Nicolas Cage having sexy? Yep, a couple of times. Starts throwing money about, buys a car, and then starts tricking you around. You know, he tries to phone his son. He sometimes can't find his son. He thinks his son's gone back to the heroin days, and he starts going around. Meets up with Benjamin Bratt, who has aged loads since Demolition Man. I mean, it has 30 years ago, so I'll shut up right there trying to make a point out of that. But he tracks down a few people. Bang, you're dead. You know, little conspiracies. Hunting down people. Has some great funny bits. What's the beef? What beef? Starts singing as well when he's on a fucking piano. He has some crazy ass. Joey, just running around his fucking apartment. Joey's a fucking rage at his Nicolas Cage. And then it twists and turns, and he eventually finds out that the guy he fought has been dead for years. You know, he's come back to get, because he's pissed. He's pissed for a few reasons. He's pissed. Well, you think he's pissed because he spent 19 years in prison, and he was only meant to serve 6, and they haven't looked after his kid. So he's pissed about that. But what he's really pissed about, you're about to find out. So the big scenario is fucking Benjamin Bratt, who's meant to be his friend, happens to be the head of the boss and has swerved him. And the massive swerve of the fucking film is the fact that Nicolas Cage's son was murdered years prior. So all this time he's walking around with his son, trying to have a good time, have a sleep with a prostitute, and all this kind of like, what's going on? It's done a total Fight Club on you, which is fucking mint, because you're like, what? And again, it's like at the end, he's got a fucking death wish, you know what I mean? He's got no, well, he's accomplished what he's done, so yeah, but the whole twist, I thought, yeah, you know, so it is one of Nicolas Cage's better films. It's probably the best so far out of this collection. I can't remember what's so far in this, hang on. Because stupid Steven decided to do, well, I was in depth for free. So I've had Trespass, was a clip before that was, we lost Joel Schumacher, which was unfortunate. We've had Could Happen With You, we've had The Brilliant, Bringing Out the Dead. Shadow of a Vampire, that creeped in here, but it's not part of it. Lord of War, oh my god, The Runner. So I'm getting there. So I don't think I've counted Shadow of a Vampire, so we're 6 in, so 4 more. I've got 4 in the other room. I should really have dug Windtalkers out the other day, but oh man, I can't believe it, man. There's been, what was it? Mortal Kombat. I fucking, the lads wanted to do it for the podcast, and I thought, oh yeah, it's down there. Fucking, I had to go and buy it on fucking Blu-ray, you know, so I could have brought Primal. But yeah, that was a fucking brilliant film. I haven't even put it back in the box, so well done, Stephen, for that one. So yeah, I'm going to try and get Nicolas Cage out before I start confusing Christian Slater's and finishing the Arrow collection ones I'm now doing. And I've heard for Pennyworth. Fucking hell, that's fucking weird as shit, that. That is really fucking weird. So what's weird about Pennyworth is I actually put it out to buy last Sunday as part of his new release, and I looked at it and then I double taked it, and it wasn't until my mate went, oh yeah, Butler Gotham has it. Alfred, really? So yeah, it's a prequel, and there's an advert for it coming out soon. Do you know what I mean? So this is fucking an old DVD. So yeah, Nick, oh good god, that baseball bat. So I'm not sure what the next one is. There's a few in the other room. Try and get Windtalkers on this one, makes sense, you know. Get that on the Christian Slater. But yeah, see you in the next bit for the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. No. I've broken the fucking light. Okay, before I review the next movie, not only did I pick up a lovely little bargain yesterday of Looking Glass, I'm sure it's going to tell them name, £2 for a new Nicolas Cage one. You never know who's watching. Looking forward to this bad boy. It's 18. So that's on its way. It might be in this one, might be not. I don't know how many Nicolas Cage films I've now seen. And because I'm filming Arrow Video, John Cusack, Christian Slater, and then Adam Sandler just came and went. But yeah, the next one is, but before the next one, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matthew Connor drumming as Nicolas Cage, and the audio is slightly different, but it's funny. Now, hopefully Matthew will return at the end of this outtakes. If not, he will be in the next series of the volume. Me and Matt were out drinking last night in the garden. Full of cold, not corona, I hope. And the other night I couldn't sleep. It's really hot, it's sweaty as fuck.
And I watched 2 Nicolas Cage films back to back.
Hey, quiet. Be quiet in there.
Hello? Anyway, I watched 2 Nicolas Cage films back to back, and the first one was Adaptation. Now, I've had this for a while. Front cover, Nicolas Cage is a plant pot, broken in half. Nicolas Cage, Meryl Streep, from the creators of Being John Malkovich, is a film I love and should have been in the John Cusack ones. And basically it's pretty cool because you've got some of the cast. You've got John Malkovich and you've got the lass from, not Cameron Diaz, the other girl. And weird little cameos at the start of this as Nicolas Cage plays the screenwriter whose movie's finishing up and he's about to take on a story about an orchid book done by Meryl Streep, who's a reporter, and she basically goes down to Miami, Florida. Welcome to Miami 1 and 2. And Chris Cooper, who's got no front teeth, you find out later on, was in a car crash. He's basically gets involved with something and he gets in it deep. He goes fucking crazy. He loves turtles. He loves fucking snakes. He loves orchids. You know what I mean? He's a bit of a portion, but knows how to get around it. And again, that's the overall story, and Nicolas Cage is tasked with the idea.
Hey.
Tasked
Quiet.
with the...
Yo, quiet.
Hello? Shh.
Quiet in there.
He's knocking on the phone. Shh.
Quiet in there.
Tasked with the idea of making a screenplay from this book. But the problem is the book is just about orchids and he really struggles. Now enter Nicolas Cage's twin, Donald. That's why this movie's a what the fuck, because there's 2 Nicolas Cages here. Nicolas Cage plays this off really well, and a few of the techniques look a bit whoa, you know. But the movie starts taking some really weird twists. Now basically it's a screenwriter has injected himself into the story he's doing, and it's really cool. Now again, if you've seen John Malkovich with the whole half the floor and fucking Malkovich, you kind of know that it's going to take this weird turn. So it kind of started like twisting the characters, and it's very obscure because I'm not a massive Meryl Streep fan, you know what I mean. I can't remember the last film I seen Meryl Streep in, and I was quite impressed by how, like, you know, off the cuff, because she's quite mainstream. You've got to remember she's like been a lot of Disney stuff, she's an Academy Award winning actress, but this is quite raunchy. She's not afraid to, like, you know, open up, and they all get addicted to this fucking green fucking mist, snorting it and all that kind of weird shit. And Nicolas Cage, like, basically can't finish his book. He hasn't got an ending. And then Donald, on the other hand, goes out there and writes a script, and then all of a sudden he gets offered 6 figures, and like Nicolas Cage, what the fuck, man? So I watched it and I really enjoyed it. It's a good film, but I think to the average viewer, they'll be like, what the fuck? But at the end of the day, if you want to see 2 Nicolas Cages and Meryl Streep and Chris Cooper, I think this film was really good. It was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Winner Chris Cooper, Best Supporting Actor. I didn't know that. Fair fucking play, because he was great. And considering he was the guy who's the Torch in Money Train, you know what I mean? For years later to be able to showcase it. It says it's the funniest and most inventive film of the year. It is quite funny, but it's really dark as well. Spike Jonze in it. So yeah.
Hi.
I'm doing a review. What are you doing a review for?
Wild at Heart.
That's the next movie?
No, it's mine.
See you in the next one.
Hello. Okay, I'm gonna do a review of The Good, the Bad, and What the Fucks for Ticket. Where is it? Here. Wild at Heart. Look at it. David Lynch. What the fuck? Hey! Quiet! Yo, be quiet. Quiet in there. Okay. So, Wild at Heart. A crazy love story. I have somewhere. Wait there. Aha! Lost Highway. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, David Lynch. Mulholland Drive. I've been to Mulholland Drive. What the fuck? Right, okay. Nicolas Cage doing front flips out of car, fucking dancing metal music. Unbelievable. And she gets out. Oh, wait, no, this is not a review. What the fuck? This is an early movie. So it's a girl from Jurassic Park. She gets boobies out. It's weird. It's loads of different scenes. Story. He goes to prison. The movie starts, and he just fucking caves someone's head in. And then there's this woman who paints herself with lipstick. Weird. It's just weird. It's weird. And yeah, she waits for him to get out of prison, and then they go across America and meet some weird shit. Harry Dean Stanton is following them for the mom. And there's a witch. There's a witch in the broom. I remember the witch in the broom. The film's weird. Then William Defoe. William. He spells it weird. He's running around with fucking weird teeth. And he's got a fucking mask over his face. Gonna try to heist a bank. Just weird. There's loads of weird things. There's like a car crash and this woman just walks around and just dies. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, there's a bit where they're dancing and it just turns into metal. They're in fucking metal dancing. Nicolas Cage. Like the film, Nicolas Cage on the front flipping fucking metal dancing. And flying kicks. Kung fu kicks. It's insane. Hey, be quiet. What you fucking doing in there? Yeah. Alternative realities. Life as you know it. Yeah. Never seen it before. Dumbland. 8 episodes. Oh, that's the animation one. But yeah, it's one of those films where Isabella Rossellini, she's in it. But yeah, there's loads of fucking, it's like John Wick, when they all get these fucking coins and there's like a hit out for Nicolas Cage. And it keeps reflecting to fire and sexy nights. The film's so weird. But what do you expect? But for this one, the good, the bad, and the what the fucks, that is a what the fuck movie. Because unless you like David Lynch, his films are just fucking mental. Right, I'm gonna find out what he's doing. He didn't even record. One job. He had one job.
Jump cut. Whoops, what?
He didn't record. He just done a whole fucking thing and he didn't record.
Okay, so yeah, I've just done a little fucking... Hang on, let's just start again. So jump cut. Yeah, I didn't record. Just done this. So first off, we had Trespass. More shout outs to Joe Schumacher. What a loss. Then we had It Could Happen to You 2. We've got Shadow of a Vampire, which is not classed as it, so still on 2. We then sort of probably had Bringing Out the Dead. Love that film, so that's 3. We then had Lord of War. That was probably before Bringing Out the Dead. That's 4. The Runner. Wow. I can't even remember this film because it was traumatizing. That's 5. Then we had A Score to Settle. 6. Habitation. And Wild at Heart. Hey. So yeah, we're up to 8. 8 Nicolas Cage films. So it's looking good for Looking Glass. I'm going to have to take out Wind Talkers. So at least I can get another one into Christian Slater. That sounded really gay, and there's more talking King Cobra gay. But yeah, good, the bad, and the what the fucks. They are weird.
They're definitely weird.
See you in the next bit. One thing I forgot to mention with Lord of War, the amazing bit where he gets handcuffed to sit down and left for 24 hours, and his entire plane gets time-lapsed as the natives take it apart, and it goes bit by bit, you know, it's great. It's great to actually put this in the video, rather than talk about this abomination I've just fucking sat through. So today I've sat through pretty much, so today I filmed Adaptation, I filmed Wild at Heart, and then I've sat through all the footage, I've edited it all up, so at this point when you've seen the video, everything's been done. I've just literally added Matty Connor in, fucked around with the audio because Matty jumped out of the band, and this has been on in the background. Now, 101 Films, as I say, 101 normally specialise in some old school stuff like 51st Date, FX, you know, The Quest. They bring some lot of stuff out on Blu-ray. This is available on Blu-ray, and it's got one of them, you know, it's got a feel. It's got like a, you know, a soft touch. AD 2030, so in 10 years time, the way the shit's going on at the moment, it's not really like, you know, it's not too far-fetched actually. Escape from New America. Guns blazing, sequence in action. Fuck me, there was a couple. There was like a bang bang, and that was it. That's it. Tire screeching action. No. Compelling sci-fi action. So yeah, Nicolas Cage is in this. Starts off. There's a lot of poor man's process, you know, like filmed with green screen, and it looks fucking terrible. There's a drone down, comes down. The masters of the sky. and it's just like, oh my god, like seriously bad. And it's like kind of like doing a whole Blade Runner kind of thing. Like, I don't know, I get a vibe of Blade Runner. He's in Utah, and he's going around and he's sort of retiring people, like you on who, like, I don't know, it's about trying to escape America or whatever. He's an agent, and he guns down this guy, and then he sort of like takes a bit of affection to a woman and a kid, and then tries to fucking smuggle them across the Canadian border, where a guy who loves timesharing in his swimming pool with half a sunglass stuck to his eye, tries to track him down and run around with a Geiger meter. And there's lots of like driving, and it just looks fucking terrible, and it is poor. Like, there's some unique things with the phone, how the phones are like 3D, but at the end of the day, privacy, it's just like, yeah, put your memorable password in. Did you see that? The fucking whole fucking queue seen that? Oh, it was so bad. It was really, really bad, and it's been, proper marketed, the unpredictable you will hunt down without mercy. Showing you epic landscapes, nice colours, like, on it, but it just stinks. It's one of those things where, like, it's like a Venus flytrap. Got ya! I should have seen you coming. But no, this is probably one of the worst ones I've seen in a while. It's definitely the worst one out of this bunch. It's worse than The Runner, and that's just saying something. Spoiler alert: Nicolas Cage gets killed about 3/4 of the way through the fucking movie. He's just lying on the floor, and you think, did that just really happen? Please rewind that. Like, oh yeah, it actually did happen. And the woman gets killed, and the kid just runs away. And it just has this fucking fade to black, directed by Rob King. Sorry, Rob. Like, but your name came straight up in my face. I was like, is this film finished? Oh, yep, it is. It's directed by Rob King. Okay. Like, no, that was really like watching paint dry. I mean, I was able to watch it and edit at the same time. I've literally, like, I've been doing that, again, crossing over the John Cusack, the Christian Slater, the Arrow. I've been prepping, I've prepped John Cusack and Christian Slater as well. I've got through Nicolas Cage, probably try and prep Arrow after chucking this in. But yeah, I'm literally like, wow, what a stinker. That is a definition of bad. That's like John Cusack's Serenity, whatever that fucking weird John Cusack one was in the future. But like, it's even got like behind the scenes, but it had no fucking chapter selection. 90 minutes. Fuck me, it felt like 2 hours. It was that long. Sorry, like, but yeah, that is a one to avoid. So yeah, so there's only one left. I mean, technically, if I counted Shadow of a Vampire, this would have been the 10. But happy to know, where the fuck did I put them? That I've actually dug out of the corner Freaky Dicky and Without Men, Christian Slater, that have never ever been opened. They were bought the day they came out. Oh, Crispin Glover's in this. Michael J. White's in it. Why the fuck did I never watch this? This actually looks quite good. And Without Men. So yeah, they'll be on the cards to watch. And obviously with Christian Slater. Now this is the extended director's cut. It was 50p from CDX. I have got it on VHS, and I do have a better version than this. Again, it's just because I'm a fan of them. Pull this out. So yes, the final one will be Windtalkers, because it can cross over to Christian Slater. But before I watch it, John Woo. Now John Woo blew everyone away with Broken Arrow, Christian Slater. He then did Face Off and then Windtalkers. Someone's probably going to correct us that, Hard Target was first and there's something else in the middle, but the idea at the time everyone was doing war films. Michael Bay was Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. So Code of Honor by John Woo. So Nicolas Cage and Christian Slater. I don't recognise any of them, but from what I remember of the movie, Nicolas Cage is deaf throughout the movie in war. How long am I in for this one? This set ended on a high. 2 hours and 27 minutes. This better be good. I don't remember it being shouty about it. I remember Christian Slater gets decapitated. But yeah. Windtalkers is next, and Windtalkers is the last one. Okay, so last night I started watching Windtalkers, and this morning I literally watched Windtalkers, and I was fucking glued to it. Obviously, as you've seen before, I was a little bit 2.5 hours. I mean, John Woo Broken Arrow, absolutely loved it. And I did say I would miss one, and it was Blackjack. I've got that on big box VHS. You know that one with Dolph Lundgren when he gets flashed, and not like Mr. Jack flashed. I'm talking about a white flash, and he goes around. And John Woo has a great style. You know, did Hard Target. Blackjack was in there. Broken Arrow, taking Christian Slater and John Travolta. Obviously, John Travolta on his comeback to Christian Slater going into his action. Scripts by Graham Yosh. And then Face Off. You know, Nicolas Cage had this massive action fiend from The Rock. You should thank Metal Bay for that. Nicolas Cage and John Travolta together. So, after Mission Impossible 2, John Woo directed, he directed Paycheck after this other movie, but then he seems to just stayed back in China, hasn't he, with Red Cliffs and stuff like that. But the idea of John Woo doing a war movie, and back in the day when I used to like playing the WWE wrestling games before, you know, it was just all about the graphics rather than the gameplay. You know, good old N64, No Mercy. Yeah, still got it. But my wrestler who I used to create, yes, I like wrestling, was called Navajo Navajo. It's a fucking mouthful, I've been saying it all day. Navajo Yamashita, right? So, okay, Navajo, Indian, Yamashita, Japanese. It's a name. just give it a name. So yeah, used to have like face paint, literally inspired by a bit of Kachiri, martial arts high flyer. You know, everyone wants to be a high flyer, so, you know. Anyway, Navajo. So this movie is about, it doesn't really pinpoint what war it's really going on. It's just the Americans are trying to protect against the, I want to say it, they say it, Japs, alright? Against the Japs. And you've got a bit of an all-star cast in this. You've got Nicolas Cage, Mark Ruffalo's in this, Christian Slater. It's and Christian Slater. So, the guy who plays, so it's got to be Adam Beach who plays Navajo. Got a Noah in there, Emmerich, Mark Ruffalo, Brian Van Hoyt, Roger Willie. That's a name to laugh at. Francis O'Connor and Christian Slater. And basically, Nicolas Cage is just basically fucking murdering everyone, and his whole platoon gets wiped out. And next thing you know, a bomb goes off behind him, bursts his eardrums. Bill's on the way, the road to recovery, but he's kind of torn death. Gets helped out with a girl that really doesn't come full circle. It's a bit of a love interest, and I guess that's war, you know. And him and Christian Slater are assigned to look after two of the Navajos. So basically, in the code breaking systems or on the radios and trying to decipher the codes, the Navajo language, which was their secret weapon. It's like the Enigma boxes, stuff like that. So basically, they run around, they've got code for Navajo. So it follows the Navajos into their transition into the war. And Nicolas Cage basically takes the assignment or anything to get back in, because he should be medical discharged because he can't hear a thing. And Christian Slater joins up. So you basically get Christian Slater, who'd worked with John Woo and Broken Arrow, and Nicolas Cage, who worked with him on Face Off, together in Wind Talkers. Action, the fuck, loads of explosions, violent, bloody, absolutely barbaric. Doesn't really tiptoe around, you know. It's got it gives some really good backstories. You actually kind of feel for the Navajos in this as well. As I say, it's really well done. Nicolas Cage goes on a fucking murdering spree. It's a bit where he just fucking goes nuts and fucking blowing the fuck out of people in holes and that, and then he's just walking along and there's loads of fucking explosions. Like he wasn't a wrestling fucking video game, like dissolved over the top of them. It's like, what the fuck? Christian Slater, I always remembered Christian Slater getting decapitated, but I thought he got decapitated off some shrapnel off something, like a fucking tank got exploded. But no, samurai sword. And you just see his head on the floor. Nicolas Cage as well, sacrificing. There's a lot of sacrifice in here. There's a lot of... It doesn't really tiptoe around brotherhood. There's a lot of... you know, the race. They don't really accept the Navajos into the war and stuff like that. So it's not as gritty as Platoon. But John Woo directing action when it goes down to physical. I mean, there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat with knives and, well, it makes sense, hand-to-hand combat. But there's a lot of bloodlust in this. Absolute bloodlust. So, to finish it off, for Nicolas Cage, first off, Matty Connor will not be in the outtakes because Matt hasn't had time to record any reviews for the other two films. He hadn't done the last one, but he was in this early on. And if you're watching, when Abe appears, there's one little bit here, I was like, fuck. almost near perfect. But you know, it's better than Austin O'Brien and fucking Last Action Hero, his background. But yeah, as I say for Nicolas Cage, well done. Again, it was one of John Woo's. It must have been a bit of a flop. I mean, we were getting action movies. I mean, Saving Private Ryan is the one to beat at that point. Michael Bay, Pearl Harbor, you know, fucking Celine Dion. Was it? No, it wasn't. That was Titanic. Catherine Jenkins, maybe something like that. You know, it didn't have a bit of a love theme, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. I really actually did enjoy it. It's like when I was talking to Mitch the other day, I was like, I actually like that one. It came out totally wrong. Kind of makes saying Mitch's new stuff. I actually love his new music, but it kind of makes me feel like a dick on that one. So number 10 was Wtfs. Then I'm going to drop that there. Really worth watching if you haven't seen it. Humanity Bureau was fucking terrible. Wow, just avoid at all costs. It could happen to you. No, that was a bad one. I like the idea of the story, but it didn't really go anywhere. It was quite bland, especially that font. Shadow of a Vampire. Obviously William Dafoe. Had worked with Nicolas Cage in Wild at Heart, as someone started his motorbike out there. So John Malkovich. So there's that kind of like niche. That's a little group. That was The Floor. Trespass is the first one out there as well. Jump Cut. Great adaptation as well. The one with the twins. Pretty fucking mental. Being John Malkovich, of course. Fuck me, how many Nicolas Cage films? Hey, we were talking about Trespass till I had to jump cut. Very unprofessionally. Obviously, Joel Schumacher gone. Wild at Heart. Yep. Score to Settle. Wild at Heart was fucking mental. That was really good. Definitely check that out. Runner. And then we've got Bringing Out the Dead, which is really, really good. And Lord of War, which is awesome as well, especially streamed. So that's been Nicolas Cage, Good, the Bad and the Wtfs. I believe it's volume 5. As I say, there'll be little or no outtakes. It's a floorboard. As I say, glad to get them out there. We're going to get John Cusack finished up. Christian Slater, I'm going to do Wtfs Christian Slater now. And then finish up the Arrow ones. So thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.
And now, the end is here.